Jamal Adams has been released by the Tennessee Titans. I know you've been out on him. How high up on the list of takes, like how high up on the list of victories is this take for you? The anti-Jamal Adams take.
Oh, it's not that high. I mean,
what a flex!
It's not that high.
Got a bunch of victories.
He's got a laundry list of great takes over the years.
The Pink Eye Academy and all the quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott, that I hit on. I discovered those two.
Discovered them and then abandoned them.
Then abandoned?
Yeah, just flat out abandoned them.
I wait till the hype gets above where I am, and I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Okay. The juice is too hot for you at that
absolutely.
point. The Titans have released Jamal Adams, and this was a request on his part, apparently. Wanted to get freed up, wanted to go look for more opportunities. They said at this point, we wish Jamal all the best going forward. It just didn't work out here. He'll have great success wherever he goes. I don't know about that, but he only played 20 snaps. That was it. And he is released, and he's on the street. Any interest at all for your Dallas football Cowboys and Jamal Adams?
On the surface,
total discount deal. Like I say, veteran minimum. Chop, are you in?
He could pay to play.
Oh, stop!
And I would say no.
Why?
Because he can't play. He's KP. He can't play.
Okay, Randy.
He can't play.
Yeah. On the surface, I was like, no, this is a disaster. It's a bad football player. Has been for a while. But the more I thought about it, I was like, if you're trying to.
This is a team of bad football players.
He's getting 20 snaps with the Titans.
If you're trying to embrace the tank, that was what I'm saying. Right? You're trying to field. And I don't know if the Cowboys need help with more bad football players on their team if you're trying to just now lose
Here's
games.
What I mean.
If this season's a lost cause, like bringing in somebody to try and help you, I think was useless. Like, should we trade for Devontae Adams? Should we? No. What are we doing? No one player is saving this thing right now. So I think Jamal Adams, you need edge players, right? I mean, he's more of a he's like a blitzing safety. He was lined up in the box his entire career.
But that's the thing. Bring him in the box. Like, your run defense hasn't always been consistent. Sometimes your linebackers aren't taking great angles, whatever else. Him coming in here as a box safety who does know how to, he knows how to play the game of football. The ability's not always there. The coverage isn't great. But you bring him up here as a box safety to just kind of play the run, play 10 to 15 snaps a game, like, bring some juice. I don't think it's such a bad idea if he's going to come in here on, like, a cheap veteran minimum deal.
I just there's a part of me that's like, why can't we just see a little bit more of Marquise Bell? If you like, we're not seeing much of him.
I mean, he was hurt last week, but yeah, before that, he hasn't seen very much.
You're thinking of like, is Jamal Adams coming in and being a progress stopper for anybody? Not necessarily. Donovan Wilson's your box safety that is trying to be physical, but he's just not good anymore.
He comes up and takes 10 snaps at linebacker, though, basically.
No, I don't think that he actually would be progress stopping anybody. But as you start to try and
there's not a lot of progress to stop.
No, there's really not. But he's, I don't know, at the barest of minimum dollars. Maybe you want to kick the tires on it.
I love. Well, be careful; those tires will cost you $2,000 if you kick them too hard.
Hey, dude, Ice Auto, our guy Mike Osmond is ready to get you some.
I got blown up by like 80 people after that said, "Hey, no, you come on over here. We'll get situated."
Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep going to help you out.
Another one, yeah. It's all over the place now. To me, the thing is that you bring up the point. You say, he's not going to fix it. Or we talked about the Devontae Adams trade. The Devontae Adams trade isn't going to fix it. Jamal Adams isn't going to come in here and fix anything. And that's the biggest thing about this Jerry interview we've talked about all this week that I think was the most telling sign was when we said, at what point do you say when there's execution problems or whatever else, those players aren't the right players anymore? And he said, we're not going to go out and find 20 new players for San Francisco.
We don't need 20.
But no, wrong. That's what I'm saying. That's where he betrayed what he had been saying throughout the whole interview. Is because he threw that number on there. He's clearly thinking that execution problems are so deep that if we replaced all the consistent execution problems we had, I'd have to go get 20 new players for San Francisco.
Yeah, okay, you're fair.
And that's the thing. I think he can say, although we have the right players, but then as soon as we said, yeah, do you maybe need to replace some folks? I can't get 20 players. Oh, so you think half your roster is bad, is what you just told me. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I think that's fair. I'm just out on Jamal Adams. I don't think he's the right person for the job here.
We'll only need 8 players, though, if we trade for the 12 players that Bill Barnwell suggested.
Yeah, so Barnwell has a list of the 12 guys that need to be traded or the teams that need to make trades. And you got, the Chiefs trading a 5th for DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, that's one of them.
I think the Chiefs need to go get Deontay Johnson or Christian Kirk. That's who I'd be going for.
I don't know. I mean, the
Kansas
the Chiefs are basically the longest yard at this point with their roster of crooks and criminals. So I don't know if DeAndre Hopkins has enough of a off the field record to end up with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I don't know how much of a fit that is, but a 5th rounder for DeAndre Hopkins.
I mean, that would
not bad.
That's not bad. I don't know what he actually has left, but how about this one for the Cowboys that he suggests? A 2025 6th round pick in exchange for Bears running back Khalil Herbert. Now, I think Khalil Herbert would fit really well in this running back room because he's averaging 2 yards a carry. So I think he's really a perfect fit for this running back room. Now, he is 26, so that's about at the end of the running back lifespan, right? Yeah. 27 is the end, but you're giving up a 6. That doesn't matter. Khalil Herbert, Robert.
And he's on an expiring deal, from what I understand. So
yeah, he's been
it's just a rental.
He's been an efficient runner at times. See, you bring up though that he's only averaging 2 yards per carry. I was just looking at this. His success rate, Chop, is still 62.5, which means they've only been using him in short yardage stuff. It sounds like.
Ooh,
like that's it. That's all he's got an opportunity to
do.
I
mean, that's why they have Zeke here, and they don't even use him in short yardage situations sometimes.
No, they instead decide to use him on 1st and 2nd and 3rd and long. That's when they'll put him in there to carry the ball, and after he complains a little bit and squeaky wheel gets the oil. But
does McCarthy say in his headset, "Hey guys, we're trying to get into a 2nd 11 here, so let's hand it to Zeke on 1st and 10"?
Yeah, McCarthy wants to get it to 3rd and 14 with 5 seconds left, and then call the draw play.
But here you go. So between 2021 and 23. He averaged 4.9 yards a carry. That was 7th among the 46 players with 300 carries. Very good. Or more between that stretch. Now, so some of that was playing with Justin Fields because he generated 189 rush yards over expectation during that stretch. But it's not because of Fields, because the other backs that Chicago had produced a minus 256 in that same time frame.
Okay.
So he was pretty decent. Now, they haven't used him this year at all, but that doesn't mean that
he cleans the bone off. There is no meat on the bone.
There's no meat on the bone. There's no meat on the bone with Khalil
What
Herbert.
other names does he suggest here? I want to see if I would take any of them for the Cowboys.
All right, so the other name now he's got – I suspect that he did not read the Howie Roseman poison pill because he says the Lions trade a 6th for Hassan Reddick. And I don't see the Jets.
Jets just go, sure, yeah. A 6th rounder is enough for us to then escalate our 3rd to a 2nd.
Right, I don't see that happening. A Bryce Young going to Miami for a 4th, a conditional 4th.
Oh, my gosh. If that were, what would you think about that? You know what? Actually, I don't hate that.
I don't hate it at all.
But think about that trade, Bryce Young to Miami.
I don't hate it.
That's not a bad fit. And I bet you anything – McDaniel would get him comfortable. Because you remember before McDaniel got to Miami, there were a lot of questions about Tua's confidence and everything that Flores had done. If Brian or if the issue with Bryce Young right now is confidence being shot and just feeling like you've been totally discarded, Tua felt that way with Flores. So
yes,
I don't think that'd be worth a 4th round pick to me if you're Miami.
Yeah, McDaniel's had to do the reclamation project before. I'm not buying Bryce Young in the sense that I think he could be something, but I do think if anybody could get something out of him, it would be a guy like McDaniel.
We didn't even talk about this earlier this week after everything got derailed by Jerry. Chop, what would you say? Is this the week of this show where we've had the most content scheduled that we didn't get to?
Oh, we didn't. Oh, my God, Eric.
We've had to do the most adjusting we've ever done.
I don't think we used any topics from our prep emails until yesterday of the whole week because it was just the Cowboy
blown out by Jerry and the Cowboys.
We generally set our topics before the Cowboy game hits, whatever time of the day it is.
Yeah.
So obviously that got blowed up because of the Lions. And then we kind of continued it on a Tuesday. Right, because something else happened, and then obviously with Jerry that
I don't know what
finished
you're
it,
talking about.
And that was Wednesday, so it was a crazy week.
It's been a heck of a week.
So, but to that point, I was just saying one of the things we didn't get to this week that we had scheduled was to talk about McDaniel saying Tua's coming back.
Yeah,
like he says Tua's on his way, and that is like he said. I don't know when it'll be, but I do think he's going to play in 2024, and that was significant. He kind of just threw it in there and moved on, but. That's significant because that's the first sign we've heard the doctors are going to let him play again this year.
Yep, I agree. Next guy is Emmanuel Forbes going to Washington for a 5th.
From Washington.
From Washington, to the Chargers for a 5th.
That's a pretty quick punting on a player,
Damn,
right?
for a 5th, so it'd be Forbes and a 6th for a 5th.
Forbes and a 6th for a 5th.
Ooh, that would be punting pretty fast on a guy that Dan Quinn liked here in Dallas and then got to Washington for. I'd be a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
But Forbes is skinny. He's 6'2", and he's like 174. I mean, we've never seen a corner like him in the history of the NFL.
Next one. Jets get a 7th-round pick for Mike Williams.
Yeah, I think that'd be the best you could get out of him.
Saints get Andrus Peat for Kendre Miller. Wasn't Miller at K-State?
Kendre Miller was TCU.
TCU. Deuce was at K-State.
Yeah, Kendre Miller, we interviewed him. He was one of those voices of God we interviewed from TCU. That one's interesting just because Andrus Peat was with the Saints until this season. Like, he left in free agency, so that'd be repairing something that you did wrong. Kendre Miller's a running back that I'd be interested in here in Dallas, just as like a flyer to see if it can work. He just can't stay healthy. That's his biggest problem.
All right, have another running back. The 49ers send a 6th to Miami for Jeff Wilson and a 7th.
Not enough. First-round pick for UNT's own Jeff Wilson. We are here in Denton.
Yeah.
Shout out to our guy,
What do you say,
own.
Peyton? What's y'all's little cry? Caw. Yeah, there you go. That's it. No, Jeff Wilson
Or
is
a
a guy
pterodactyl,
Jeff Wilson has had a
something with some talons.
Jeff Wilson has had a really strong career for somebody who was an undrafted free agent that just landed in San Francisco. He's been traded for capital a couple times, I think, now. And that's another guy that we talked about as potential running back addition for the Cowboys this offseason when we were looking at who are guys you could potentially trade for.
Why don't teams ever use dinosaur names?
Like the T-Rexes, the
Pterodactyls, is because there's a P that nobody wants to.
I do think, the P is off-putting when you're trying to come up with graphics or whatever, I would imagine.
I mean, the Toronto Raptors, they used one, but that's
there
it.
You go. That's the only one that we get, but we do need more dinosaurs.
How about the Tyrannosaurs?
We need more dinosaurs in society. Like, we need them to come back.
Yeah, just across the board.
Yeah.
I think we need more dinosaurs.
Look, we need
Big John, whatever his name is.
Yeah, we need to get on whatever they were doing in Jurassic Park. They need to. Look, we got an mRNA vaccine in 6 months, Chop. We can bring dinosaurs
Bobby,
back.
okay.
Hey, we got a fire truck back.
Right.
All right, so we got two runs, 2 calls, I believe.
2 calls.
And we finally got one of the trucks back. That's good news. I am out on Khalil Herbert to the Cowboys, though. I'm not spending draft capital now for a rental piece for a team that's going nowhere right now. So I'd be out on Khalil Herbert.